Well, Heidi ho to everybody out there in the interwebs. It's Diane, and it's like the most awkward thing to sit and talk about this, but I think it's important that I talk about this because I went through a whole bunch of kind of drama and turmoil about this. Hello, my dear Lisa. Um, I got a new car today. Um, and it's a long story, but basically, um, I had two leases that I got almost 3 years ago, actually, a little less. And we hardly drove the cars because of COVID. And I started, love you too, Lise. I started doing a little research because I figured I'll start. One was up at the end of October and one's up at the end of December. And I never really mentioned when I got the lease last time. And I started to do a little research and came to find out, and Eugene, this will be very relevant to you. I just saw Eugene came on, and how are you and Margaret? So I started doing some research, and turns out there's a big shortage of vehicles, used vehicles right now, huge shortage of them because there wasn't production during COVID and there's a whole backup and et cetera, et cetera. There's just a shortage of vehicles in general. And I realized that I was in the unique position that I had equity, hello, Heath, in a car lease or in two car leases, which is very weird because usually at the end of the lease, there's a payoff amount. You could buy the car, you can turn it in and get a new car, whatever. But the cars were actually worth quite a bit more than what I owed on the cars. So I was doing some research because the last time I leased cars, Lisa, definitely do the research now because there's a lot of winning right now. And at first I was really upset because the pricing on the new cars, it wasn't that the prices were so much higher. It's just that they weren't offering the incentives because they don't need to move the cars like they normally do. And a lot of times at the end of the year, new models come out and you can pick stuff up. And I can tell that the prices were very sky high. And my lease price was literally going to go up dramatically. So I happened to go get my car serviced at the dealership, and I walked over. I thought, what the heck? I don't like car dealerships, although my opinion has changed. Not a fan. Not a fan of playing games and doing the hokey pokey with them. But I walked over and I said to the guy, hey, blah, 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 blah. I have these two leases are coming up. I've liked you guys for service. So even though I normally get my cars through an app and just order them and they come, I'd like to give you guys the opportunity for the business. Not looking immediately, but this is what I'm looking for. Well, it turns out they had a car there that was exactly what I was looking for. And before I knew it, I was ready to get this car. Now, here's what I want to talk about. And here's something that I think, and I hope you guys share this with some people that this is important for. I'm supposed to be this big internet, whatever I am, okay? And I drove a very, very, very expensive car. With fine Corinthian leather and all the bells and the whistles and every button that you could poke in the beautiful wood and the heated steering wheel and all of that stuff. But here's the thing. I'm not a car person and I don't drive very much. So when I started to really think about what I wanted, I had a couple requirements, and these were the requirements. And this is what I said to the guy. I need heated seats, or what I call butt warmers. I live in Connecticut. It is cold in the winter, okay? And I wanted something with heated seats. I needed, I don't know what they call them, proximity locks. You don't have to take your keys out of your bag. Your car recognizes you so that when you walk over, you just touch the button and you can open the car or open the trunk. You don't have to go digging for keys because there's nothing worse when it's cold out and it's dark to have to go digging for keys. So I wanted that. Those are the two things I mostly wanted. And then if there was anything else, it was great. So it turns out that this car is absolutely loaded. I'll tell you in a second what I got. Absolutely loaded, has everything. It has the auto starter and it has the sunroof and it has everything, right? And here's the thing. I could have gone and spent, and I have no judgment of anybody that's into it. If you love cars, like I know you love your car, Eugene. If you love cars and cars are your thing and you want a certain kind of car, I think you should go get whatever you want. You want to drive a Maserati and you want to drive it because you love it, not because of appearances, not because you're supposed to. You know, Eugene, I have a sunroof. I've had a sunroof for years, and I always forget to open them. So I use my sunroof today. Guys, I guess what I'm trying to say is let's consider stopping. Same as the dealerships have stopped, or at least this one didn't. I didn't go through the hokey pokey. It was very simple, very transparent. Here are all the numbers. Go check them out. I was able to call the other place and find out. I also called a friend who used to work at a car dealership. He said, you got a good deal there. Everybody went away happy. They made money. I didn't feel like I was jerked around. The car was, it worked out right. They were excited when I came in and talked about the equity, and they were able to give me that information right up front. Why do we have to make believe? Why do we have to make believe? Or why is this expectation that we have to make believe that we're all rich and famous, that we're all living on a yacht, that we all have a mansion? And then I watch people and they're embarrassed to show where they really live, or what they really have, or what their real situation is, or admit that they're leasing something, okay? In this industry, it's been taught for decades. For decades. I grew up in an organization where everybody was told when you hit a certain rank, you got pulled in, and they wanted you to lease a certain kind of car, and they wanted this. And if you didn't have that kind of car, they literally told you where to park so the prospects didn't see. Okay. And I think it's time that we start to talk about what we truly value. For me, it's not cars. I bought a brand new Hyundai Elantra, top of the line one. It is the lowest price car probably in America. There might be something lower. And it has a 100,000-mile warranty, and I get all my maintenance is free, and it gets 40 miles to the gallon. For me, it is the perfect car. I don't need something fancier. I don't need fine Corinthian leather. I drive to the supermarket and home, and I drive to the airport. That's my driving. Now, if you are somebody that loves cars, you should get whatever you want. If you are somebody that's a person like you have special dogs and you love your dogs and you want to do all kinds of things with your dogs, you should do that. I am a travel person. To me, flying first class is valuable. Other people will say, why would you pay for that? Well, because I can get a lot of work done up there, and because I'm more comfortable and I can pull out my computer, and in 4 hours I can get more work done than I can in a week at home. To me, that's valuable. I like to cruise in suites, right? And everybody goes to me, well, why would you pay for that? Well, why wouldn't I? A butler brings me treats, and I have all of this stuff and fancy stuff and a special restaurant, yada, yada, yada. I like to go certain places. I like fine dining, okay? I like really high-end restaurants, celebrity chefy type of stuff, that type of stuff, okay? I love that. And I'll spend $500, $700 on a meal, and somebody else wants to go to Chili's. Who's right? Who's wrong? Who's right with getting the highest end car, or I'm getting a low end car? The question is, what makes you happy? And does it make you happy because it's what you love, or is it making you sort of happy because that's what everybody else is doing or getting? And I have always been a spokesperson for this type of stuff, that we keep this perpetual cycle of making believe. And I think it's just time, because guys, what we have is good enough. I'm a mama who raised her 2 children, and my youngest is moving to New York in a week. And I just have days left. She's down in the city right now. I have days left. Eugene, another Brooklyn girl, days left. Although the big one's now on the Upper West Side, Eugene. So it's she's swanky. She's moving on up right to the West Side. So my kids are grown, and I had the luxury of being with them every day. And I think that's good enough. I get to go on trips. I get to do these things. I think that's good enough. So I'll post some pictures later of the car and show you the car, but the car's not the point. The point is that after much contemplation, because the last one I got, I didn't tell anyone because I thought it wasn't good enough. And I thought that somebody, because I went from a $80,000 Lexus to a $22,000 Elantra. And I thought that I couldn't tell anyone because I was sneaking around in my inexpensive car. And I think that is freaking insane. You know what I am? I'm a single woman by myself that doesn't have somebody handy around. I need a car that requires very little to no maintenance. I need a car that has all the things I need so I can start it from inside the house. So when I'm cold, I can run outside because there's nobody to take care of that stuff for me. And I don't expect that anybody needs to take care of that stuff for me. I need that. I'm telling you, Eugene, this car is decked out. I was like blown away by the features and the monitor and the backup monitor, and I have a feature that tells me to check in the back seat to make sure there's nobody there to get me. Okay. I have a feature that tells me when the car's in front of me, like if I'm sitting at a light and I'm not paying attention, it'll tell me to move. It'll tell me when the cars are in front of me are moving. It's crazy the things this car has. And it's only 3 years, younger than my old car. And it's like a world of difference. 100,000 mile warranty, 60,000 bumper to bumper. For me, it is absolute perfection. And I'm not trying to sell you on that. I'm just saying, I'm going to an event next week and everybody's talking about what they're wearing because of the way their brand is. And I'm not mocking. Please do not misunderstand me, because I think everybody should do what they want. And I used to get excited about the clothing, and I used to be excited about every event, and I couldn't be photographed again in an outfit. And maybe I'm just a little older, and maybe I'm just been around on the merry-go-round enough times. Maybe I've done it enough times that I just am kind of past that. And what I'm looking for is to help everybody find their bliss. Not somebody else's bliss, not your upline's bliss, not your mentor, your guru, whoever, Grant Cardone or this one or that, whoever it is that it is that person for you or that organization or those people. What is the influence that stuff is having over us that we think, like everybody talks about red bottom shoes. And I think red bottom shoes are gorgeous. And like Angela's like here, like, yes, because Angela's is like me. We're just nice ladies that brought up children that happen to have incredible businesses that we built from our kitchen tables. That's who we are. Okay. And I think that if somebody loves those red bottom shoes or a $6,000 handbag or whatever it is that turns you on, I think you should go for it. But you know what I did the other day with my daughter moving? I'm just kind of transitioning and I'm emptying out a lot of stuff out of the house. And I cleaned my closet, which is a miracle. It's clean as it's been since I moved in. And I gave away 22 pairs of shoes, and I haven't even cracked. There's like a thing in town where you can go in a Facebook group and just put up stuff you have to give away, and if people come and pick it up, just like it's like an exchange. You just ask for things you need or post things you have to give away. And this one woman picked up this bag of 22 pairs of shoes, and they were like Ugg boots and fancy shoes and all kinds of stuff, mostly that I wore once. And I haven't even cracked the code. And I was looking at my handbags. At this particular moment, there are 63 designer, fancy, whatever, not like, I don't have super high end. I can't bring myself to go there, but I have 63 handbags in my closet. Can I ask you a question? Who needs 63 Coach bags or Fendi bags or whatever? Who needs 63 of them? And this is the madness. And this is the consumption madness. And liquidation sale. Yeah. Eugene, a lot of it I'm giving away. Some of it I might sell. I had asked a while ago because I intended to sell it. There's those websites, Poshmark or whatever, those apps. So, but just getting around to doing the pictures and all this other stuff, it's just like, So, and it's funny because I'm going shopping this weekend because I am going to get probably an outfit to wear to that event next week. I'm not getting a gown, or everybody's getting cocktail dresses and all this other stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. I probably got something with some sparkles on it, or I'll wear a basic black dress with some jewelry on it. I don't know. Yeah, Eugene, there's so many people. The poor girl that got the 22 pairs of shoes in the bag, we agreed that she was going to pick up the bag for me. She was going to go through, take what she could use, and then pass it along to the other girls that were looking for stuff. She literally wrote me, she goes, I'm sitting here crying. because I can't get over what you just gave me. She was so beside herself. So I don't know, maybe that's more valuable than the couple of bucks I could get. I don't know. Maybe. I wish my daughter was still here and had any interest in doing it, because she could do it and keep the money, but she's out. She's done. She's a New York City girl now. My cat's going. It's just me. Who's coming to visit me? I'll do a workshop. Who's coming to visit me? Eugene, you should come visit me. You're local. Anyways, so I am now the proud leaser. I don't even own it because I don't want to own it. I'm the proud leaser of a brand new Hyundai Elantra, souped up with all the bells and whistles, and you will see me doing pop-up calls and such from it. And I'm damn proud of it. I'm damn proud of it. I went and did it myself. I cut the deal myself. I shook hands myself, and I have a beautiful new car to drive around for 3 years or less until I turn it back in and go for something else. And maybe one of these days I'll want something fancy, but I got to tell you the truth. Right now, I asked the other day on Facebook, I said, who's ever been to Rome? And I'm stunned by how many of my friends have been to Rome. I'm stunned by how many people I know that have been there. I'm eyeing a 17-day cruise. And I know some of you will freak out and go, don't go, COVID, you're going to die. I'm going to die anyway. 2 stops in France, 2 stops in Italy, 2 stops in France, 4 stops in Spain, 2 stops in Portugal, and then across the Atlantic Ocean. I think I stopped at the Azores and Bermuda to come back to the States. That, to me, 17 days of the ocean is worth every single penny, and seeing all those cities and seeing all those sites, and going back to Spain, which I haven't been to since 1984. But the crazy part is the idea that I can take 20 days, because I need a couple of days on the front end in Rome. So 25 days, I can do that. I can work right from the ship. I can go anywhere I want. And you know what? I think that's good enough. Isn't it? Don't you agree? And if you do agree, let's start talking about that. Let's go back to being, modern day mom and pops. People who came and started businesses back in the day, they didn't run around flashing. They were just happy to build a legacy for their family. They were just happy to have something that put food on the table, that allowed them to be together, that allowed them to celebrate who they were and advance their children and take their children to the next level. Isn't that what we do in the home business space? We're taking the transition, we're transitioning from working for somebody else to learning to create our own work, to learning to be self-sufficient. And that is a huge jump. It's a huge jump. And I hope you guys recognize that when an immigrant came here to the States and they opened a dry cleaner, it was a huge dump. Back where they came from, they might have been, doing manual labor, and they came here and they opened something that was theirs, that they owned, that was their legacy. And that was a huge jump in mindset. They had to leave their friends and family behind, often coming alone to bring over pieces of their family as they went and sending money back home. And there's still people doing this in America every single day, regards to everybody in other countries that might watch this. There's still people doing this every single day, and they hustle and they work and they are proud of the work they're doing and who they are and what they've built. And yet here, we're in this home business space. We jump, we learn to work part-time businesses around our jobs and around our lives or around our kids. And then we learn to advance it, and we learn to turn it into full-time incomes, which means we've learned to manage ourselves and create our own work. And it's never enough. It's never enough. It's never enough. And I think that is just insane. Because it is, I'm sorry, I feel like things are hanging out here. It is enough. And not only is it enough, it's beautiful. And not only is it beautiful, but it is, I think 20 years from now, everybody's going to be working like us. And we're the pioneers. We're the ones that are paving the road. It's happening right now. I mean, COVID accelerated it, but it was happening before, because we're going around in a circle, and everybody is going to need to learn how to become self-sufficient. And can you make a lot of money? You sure can. The question is, what do you want to do with it? And whatever you want to do with it is the right answer. It's not for me to tell you. You don't have to keep up with the Hawkmen. because, well, unless you want to get a Elantra, and then we could be cool together. So, all right, guys, I'm going to go. I have to do a class for My Lead System Pro. Yeah, Tony, that's right. Most immigrants were only thinking about providing for their families, but their hard work turned into a legacy. And in fact, it's funny, the car dealership that I bought the dealership from is a family dealership, family owned, and it's been passed down generations, and the kids work there today. And I met one of the kids, right? This is what they built. This is their work. What are we building, and what are we cherishing, and what are we holding dear, and what experiences are we giving ourselves? And if you want to drive a fabulous car every day because it makes you feel like $1 million, please do. Please go make that money, and please go get it. I drive to the supermarket. That's where I drive. And the airport. That is literally it. I go nowhere. So what does that mean to me? But I did just get a message from Delta that I got an upgrade on my flight for next week. So there we go. All right, guys, I will see you guys later. If you are an MLSP member, I am doing the happy hour at 6 o'clock, Brian and Jim are away. If you're not and you wanted to know what the heck that was, please feel free to message me. And to all of you, I see a lot of old friends on today. Love you guys. Let's kick it up a notch. And I'll see you guys later. Everybody have a great weekend. Take care.